I guess there's very, very rare occasion in your life where you get to be involved in such an ambitious startup. It's not my first rodeo. I've done lots of different things over the years, and some of them have been wildly ambitious. But in this case, we're really setting this second national carrier up in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay. Probably the last major undiscovered country in the world for people for tourism. Yeah. And it's becoming incredibly easy for people to get here almost overnight.
Hello and welcome to the Mayman Show. We are coming to you from our studios in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And today we have the Chief Operating Officer for the newest aviation brand in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh Air, Mr. Peter Bellew. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
And thank you for the invitation. Thank you. Very grateful.
It's my pleasure. I mean, hopefully after this episode, I'll have suddenly get some frequent flyer miles just suddenly come into my cards.
Yeah,
who knows, right?
Certainly, seat 1A. We'll have your name on it.
All right, that sounds good. I'll take you up on that one sometime. So let's start with the exciting new Riyadh Air. And, you guys participated, or you debuted at the Dubai Air Show in November. And the Dubai Air Show is one of the most significant aviation events in the world. So what important announcements have you guys made there? And also tell us, something from a personal perspective about, being the person to... or one of the team members to debut Riyadh Air. And that. Yeah,
so Dubai exceeded my expectations. Yeah? So, sometimes the air shows can be a lot of glitz and glamour, but for us, we demonstrated, we showed our second livery. We had the first livery of the aircraft, so which is quite stunning. The beautiful, colourful 787 was there on display. Mm-hmm. And I think then more importantly for other people in the industry, because it's an industry event, we announced things like our first simulator order for, full flight simulators with a company called CE. We announced all our operational software. We announced a lot of technical agreements with Microsoft, with other companies, mm-hmm. with Lufthansa Systems, with a company called Amos. Now, the relevance for that is, our first flight won't be till the second quarter of 2025. But for people in the industry, they say, hey, these guys really have their act together. They're lining all this stuff up. We're partnering with only the best
aviation partners.
Aviation partners, software development companies. Yeah. Because we're brand new and we don't have any legacy systems, mm-hmm. we've been able to take the best of what's out there. Yeah. Where they call them operational systems, I'm saying that's not really what you've got. You've got sustainability and safety systems, because we're going to be able to take what they've got mm-hmm. and blend it into the world's best IT systems for leading the way in, let's say, how sustainability is done in the aviation industry overall. So rather than just a system that just, sends out flight plans for how the aircraft's going to go or sends a roster to a team member, the flight plan will actually tell you, here's the best way to save as much carbon and fuel as you can possibly. Here's the way to have the least noise, etc. So again, across the industry, the one thing that surprised me was we had some of the best people in the world coming to our chalet, mm-hmm. giving me CVs. All right. Is Peter here? I want to work for Riyadh Air. Okay. Now, some of the folks who were coming, I never in my wildest dreams would I thought I would work with them again, because they're people I've known over the last 35 years. Okay. Or they're people who just want to be part of our journey. Right. And that was really exciting. And I kept going all week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Again, normally these things it was super. We got global recognition for what we're doing. I think people want to partner with us. I think other airlines and aviation organizations want to partner with us. And that's really been the story since we announced publicly what we're doing since the middle of March.
All right. And
for me, and you asked me, sorry, the second part of your question, me personally, I guess there's very, very rare occasion in your life where you get to be involved in such an ambitious startup. Mm-hmm. It's not my first rodeo. I've done lots of different things over the years, and some of them have been wildly ambitious. But in this case, we're really setting the second national carrier up in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Probably the last major undiscovered country in the world for people for tourism.
Yeah.
And it's becoming incredibly easy for people to get here almost overnight. So to be part of that journey I think is very rewarding.
All right. And from an operational perspective, and if you can explain this in layman's terms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're telling me about setting up the technical infrastructure first. Why is that key and critical to get in place first?
Yeah, well, I think the trickier bit is actually going to be setting up a very ambitious digital journey for the customers.
Okay.
Because we're going to be inventing things in ways that people haven't done it before, and I think that's going to be incredibly exciting for our guests. Who from the time they start thinking about booking with us till the time they get to their destination, and maybe even long after that. For us, I got to get the best talent in the world who want to help us create operationally the most on-time airline with a beautiful, welcoming, kind service that's incredibly reliable. And to do that, you have to get brilliant people to help you do that. Yeah. So I think part of the profile that we've created as an organisation over the last 9 months is we're able to attract that talent to Saudi Arabia, and I think that's actually going to help the rest of the ecosystem in the country, because a lot of the folks we've got coming to join us, I think they'll be able to help the maintenance sector, the airport sector, the wider training sector. We're trying to partner with universities, with colleges, with technical institutions. Okay. And I think that's going to be, for me, the legacy that somebody like I can leave behind, that we can help everybody else just grow the industry overall.
All right, that sounds interesting. So it's like knowledge transfer is also a critical part of the business. And on the 4th of December, Riyadh Air announced that they're actually, how is Riyadh Air going to be expanding globally? Because on the 4th of December, you've announced a partnership with Turkish Airlines.
Yeah, and again, I think that surprised a lot of people that this early on, well over a year before we start formally flying, that somebody like Turkish Airlines, which is one of the largest, in fact, Turkish Airlines would be one of the very largest airlines in the world now, connecting maybe more destinations internationally than almost anybody else. So, but they want to work with us. It makes perfect sense for us as we grow our network, because a lot of the destinations they go to are complementary, and it'll take us many years for us to expand into the wider network. Okay. So out of the box, really, as soon as we start flying, we'll be able to offer their customers and our customers a seamless interconnection, both to transfer between flights, to get to destinations all over the world, to whatever loyalty program we have. I anticipate that we'll connect through to theirs, and on many different levels, it'll give us an ability to get our distribution for our product and to get people to Saudi Arabia and to move around within the country much quicker than maybe if we just tried to do it on our own. So great airline, fantastic service, wonderful food. There's lots of things I'm sure we can learn off them as well over the next couple of years.
All right. And, the goal is to have Riyadh Air fly to how many destinations?
I think the plan is we would hope to be going to over 100 destinations by 2030. We're really focused on trying to offer great connectivity to Riyadh from all the main cities in Europe, from the near Asian capitals to right across to North America, and domestically as well, that we will offer great on-time performance, very reliable service with an incredibly beautiful Saudi welcome for our guests on board. And then just to offer that in almost like a metronome, ticking, that people will be able to know day in, day out. They can rely on Riyadh Air for a great service at good value for money, and to connect Riyadh to the world. It can be a difficult place to get to. Often you have to connect through different airports at the moment, and we just want to make it incredibly simple for Saudi people to visit or do business overseas, and also to make it really, really straightforward for people to come here and do business, visit the wonders of Saudi Arabia, or come back and just visit friends and family.
Okay. And the plans are to have the first flight launch at what time?
Second quarter of 2025. We're on track for that at the moment. It's and we will expand very quickly. We've ordered 39 Boeing 787-9. It's a big plane, can fly 13, 14, 15 hours if it needs to. Extremely comfortable aircraft. We will be revealing over the next 12 months some quite unique product on board. We will probably have the best digital experience, we hope, in the world for our guests. And then we'll add on a smaller aircraft, what's called narrow body aircraft. We'll do an order for those in the next couple of months, and then they'll feed in people to go on the wider network, and we'll connect Riyadh to almost everywhere you could possibly want to go by 2030, which the wonderful news of the Expo award to Riyadh, I think, could not be more timely. And for us, our brand is Riyadh. The brand is Riyadh. It's really clear. So our brand will elevate everything else that's happening in Riyadh as we spread our wings around the world, and vice versa. I think we are going to benefit massively from Riyadh Expo. So the two things couldn't be more perfect for us.
All right. And so aside from the technological solutions and smart solutions, what can passengers expect in terms of experience while flying?
I think there's two sides to it. There's a highly digital experience. We see ourselves as digital natives, but we want to make for our customers the journey from when you start thinking about flying with us or going somewhere, whether coming to Saudi or going out, that will make it extraordinarily easy for you to interact with us just with your phone, and that will go through the journey through the airport. A lot of people now find travel a bit of a hassle. They don't want to go to airports. They find airports a hassle, and likewise when they're traveling, we want to make it incredibly seamless, that both your phone and even your face will become your ticket, that you won't have to have as much interaction if you don't want to. And that literally your whole journey will be completely digital and seamless. And I think the recently announced participation of Saudi Arabia in the 6-country digital tourist visa, again, that could be not better news for us, because that'll accelerate what we're trying to do. So on the digital side, that's really, really important. For me, the bit I think is more exciting is when I was a kid, when I first started flying nearly 50 years ago, you look forward to going to an airport. An airport was a glamorous place.
It was fun.
It was a fun thing. Going on a plane was one of the coolest things you would do all year. You'd almost hear James Bond music, playing in your ears as you went on your journey. It was glamorous. It was exciting. It was romantic. And I don't think it's beyond our ability to put that back into travel, right? And if we made it something, that traveling with Riyadh Air, that the journey is the reward. That the physical act of traveling with us, that you'll be really looking forward to going through the airport, to enjoying the retail if you want, to having your digital, journey with us. And then when you get on board the aircraft, you'd say, hey, this is really cool. I'm really happy. I'm enjoying this. You'll have your connectivity. You'll have your entertainment. You'll have great food. You'll have wonderful people giving you what I've experienced for the last 12 months, a really sincere Saudi welcome. And, if we could do that, for me, that would be fantastic.
So basically, you're trying to digitize as many of the processes as possible to get on an airplane, I guess excluding the customs part, because that doesn't sit with airplanes.
Well, I think there could be innovative things we could do around immigration and customs as well. The only barrier to making the journey simple for somebody is the barrier of your own imagination and how you can try and dream how you could make the passenger's journey beautiful. So, and I have seen nothing but cooperation from the Saudi authorities about how to, in a simple way as, I got my first tourist visa last November. It was way easier than getting your ESTA for America to come here, but it still took you 15 minutes. When I got one for my wife in January, it took maybe 6 minutes. My son did visa on arrival in March, and some of the rest of the kids who came after exams in May, and the visa on arrival was like in literally 2 minutes at the airport. So I don't know too many countries where that's possible. And I could bore you explaining to you. I bought a second-hand car here via car switch app.
Yeah.
From the moment I got to the car,
about a dune bashing car.
I got a dune bashing car, which has been fantastic for me in driving around Riyadh. But like from the start to the finish, digitally, including having my license documents and my insurance, was under an hour.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, in England or Ireland or Europe, it would take you a couple of weeks before you'd get that paperwork sorted out. So I don't think people give themselves credit in Saudi Arabia for how advanced a lot of these digital systems are.
Yeah.
Banking system here is way beyond anything that we have in Europe.
Okay.
To transfer money between banks in England takes hours or days.
Yes.
You can do it in milliseconds here. So, and all those things help us because it's going to make my work much easier. You know what I mean? And it's going to make the work of this country infinitely easier. And the one thing, as I'm here now a year, I think Saudi people massively underestimate how big tourism is going to become.
Yeah.
It's driven by Riyadh in the north and the Neom and the Red Sea and those experiences along the north and the attractions that are going to be built here. And already it's happening. Like the growth, Riyadh Airport is probably the fastest growing international airport in the world this year. Yeah. Their figures are way above 2019. And then in the south, you've got Jeddah and Medina and Mecca. And, I lived for 3 years in Malaysia. There's 15 million people in Malaysia who would happily come and do Umrah here every single year, right? Okay. And then they'll come up to Riyadh, enjoy all the new attractions, everything here. And, I just saw the numbers, there's 200 Muslims in India. The numbers are up 74% here. So it comes in every way. What we're building here in Riyadh will be extraordinary and will bring people from all over the planet to see what has been here, much of which is, man-made and invented. But then what there is in the south, which is just going to enrich people's spirit, enjoying Umrah, Hajj and everything else that's around that. The combination of that, I actually think is way, way bigger than we all imagine at the moment. So that's a challenge.
Okay.
But that's, as we'd say, a first world problem. How do you cope with success? So, which is going to be fascinating.
Well, I mean, if any place in the world would see the added value of, digitizing services and digital transformation, it's the kingdom, since it's, one of the key pillars for Vision 2030. Yeah. And, but, the sky's the limit to innovation. And, you were telling me about, basically passing your knowledge transfer and building or continuing your legacy here and, building the industry. So what do you think in your 35 years of experience in the travel industry, like how will you benefit this project with your know-how?
I think if we can work with all the educational establishments here, there's fantastic universities here. There's the Colleges of Excellence, which is getting huge investment. The government announced recently at a UN function that was here, they're going to build the world's largest tourism training college out in Qiddiya. If all I can do in my time here as a guest in the country is help all that training and education infrastructure tap into all the available resources that we know are there around the world. The hunger for knowledge among young Saudi people and older Saudi people is extraordinary.
All right.
And their interest and willingness to learn and to be diligent about doing that, because the ability to learn in many countries is there, and to get people out of bed in the morning to actually to go to college is, I'm sure, is a challenge for many parents. That's not the case here. People want to learn, people want to advance themselves. So you're throwing seed out on very fertile soil here. I think if we can work with anybody and everybody who's sincere about developing their education resources around aviation, around tourism, around the digital side of the aviation and tourism, that will then just help the whole thing grow. grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. The requirement, tourism and aviation jobs, they're fantastic jobs for people just out of college. You don't always have to have huge skills in your first job. If you're working in a hospitality role,
just got to be eager to learn.
Yeah, but you learn how to interact with people. You learn how to sell. You learn how to, you learn the value of a dollar, and you learn how to
be self-sufficient and interact.
And you learn to be independent. So I think for a lot of people, their first job, maybe for a couple of years, will be in the hospitality sector, and then they go off and they maybe do further study, and then they come back and then they grow the industry. But the opportunities, I think, are going to be extraordinary.
All right, and aside from building an industry, building a new airline, employing people, where do you believe the importance lies in investing in the aviation industry for Saudi Arabia?
I think connecting this country, which to the rest of the world, has been a place that they didn't know you could visit, and still a lot of people don't realize how simple it is to come here. I think it's actually, if you take this country traditionally for thousands and thousands of years, has been the crossroads of the world. People travelled here on their way to many other countries, and to visit the two holy mosques and everything that signified. So that's in your DNA, that's in your blood here. Yes. You understand visitors. I see it in little children. They're programmed to be nice to visitors. And so it's not like in other places where it's insincere or false.
Hospitality is a pillar of the culture in general. Yeah.
I went to the food fest last Friday night. It was up in the university, and I stupidly parked my car the wrong way. So some guy clamped me. So that's cool.
Okay. You're a dune basher.
Yeah.
Got scared
so
of it.
It's a sticker.
Yeah.
3 young Saudi guys. Now, this is just before the big match was on.
Okay.
So they come over, they take the sticker, they ring the guy, they insist he comes. They won't go and leave me until he's come, and he's released my car, and then they haggle with them over the price of what I had to pay him to get the car released.
Okay, that's very nice of them.
So, but this is all the time. People are just nice. People want to look after visitors. Where are you from? Peter, where are you? What are you doing here?
Well, if there's a game somewhere
else
in Europe,
we have some
soccer
coffee.
Hooligans, huh?
Do you want some coffee? So, but that's just so. I just think connecting the country, and there's lots. Saudi is a fantastic airline, 75 years of heritage. Flynas, Flydeal's growing. I think lots of international carriers. The fact that I and some of my colleagues are here and we know so many people around the world, the other airlines are ringing us now saying, we never really thought of flying there. What's it like? Do you think we should look at it? The more the merrier, really, is my view on it. And the more that come here, the easier it will be for us to connect. And I think they're starting to consider it now. So, it'll take us time to ramp up over the years. So if other airlines come as well, that's great.
Okay. I mean, that's sounds like it's there's a good value proposition. I mean, if there's a demand of coming to Saudi, logically, the more ways to get them there via airplane would be better.
Yeah.
And so you've lived here for a little over a year, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you like it so far?
I think it's been much more exciting living here than I thought.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going to be very busy with work and it's a startup.
Actually, before you tell me, like, what were you thinking when you were going to move here? Like, I know you visited here. Before we started recording, you told me you visited here for a couple of days, but what was going through your mind? What expectations did you have?
So I knew people were kind of welcoming, and but I didn't think there would be so much to do at the weekend. Right.
Okay. So there's too much to do.
And I didn't think it would be as cold as it is at the moment. Right. The weather's beautiful, but
welcome to the desert winters.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, but literally from as soon as I got here, there's just one thing after another every weekend to go. Like the only limitation on fun things to do here is your ability to look up and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So that surprised me. I literally every single weekend I'm spoiled for choice. The sporting events on, or there's hiking, or there's camping, or there's the theatre, there's Phantom of the Opera, there's cinema. I didn't expect all of that.
Yeah.
I had read up on it a bit. I didn't think it was. And then when events are on here, they're extremely well run. They're quite affordable. The sound systems are normally spectacularly better than I'm familiar with in Europe. Even parking, at events and how they manage it and the information. So I didn't think all that would be there. So that's been my experience. But then the welcome from people, which I kind of knew it would be there, but I still wasn't sure. It's just like everywhere. And then even the further you go out of Riyadh, the more curious people are, the more welcoming people are.
All right. And is there like a memorable experience you want to share with us?
Yeah, I was only here a couple of weeks and I didn't really know anybody. And there was only like 15 of us at work. And a lot of those people were commuting back to their families and stuff. So I'd met one of the people in the office was from Heil. And I said, oh, yeah, I've read about Heil. And I'd seen something years ago in a book about Heil and the fort and the old town. So there's a train to Heil, and I live in Cordoba, so it's not that far from where I go. So I went out to the train and I said, I want a ticket to Heil. It's early in the morning. He says, well, why do you want to go there? So I says, no, I want to go there. It's a nice place. It's a nice place. Okay, well, there's no food on the train. And I said, that's fine. I have some stuff. Anyway, I got on the train. It takes a while to get to Heil on the train. I sat in my seat. I guess I was the only foreigner on the train that day. The Saudis who were travelling, they kind of rotated every 15 minutes because they wanted to talk to me.
Okay.
They wanted to practice their English. They wanted to find out who I was, why I was going to Heil.
I get Peter's times first. No, I get him second.
Yeah. So
like that, right?
Everybody had beautiful food with them for the journey. So I probably had 10 different samples of different capsa, and people had pastries and everything. When I got to Heil, somebody took me by the hand, physically, led me into the old part of the town.
Okay.
We were getting close to prayers, so they put me in a cafe with this lady who spoke perfect English. She insisted on staying open, putting me in the back during prayers, made me beautiful food, asked me what I liked, made it for me, made me beautiful coffee. Turned out she was a scholar of Irish literature, of an author called James Joyce. Was able to quote, and she's in her 70s, this lady, was able to quote contemporaneously to me passages from Ulysses, which is an obscure book that not even many Irish people have read. And then introduced me to her husband later on, who knew another Irish author called Samuel Beckett. So I planned to travel back, they found a B&B for me. I stayed there. I saw the old city. I play some guitar badly. They introduced me to some oud players. I played my oud for the first time. So out of nothing became this incredible welcoming experience in a town that I don't think very many people have visited, but is a wonderful place.
I mean, it's popular for locals,
but I think it's a bit off the tourist trail at the moment.
Exactly, yeah. It's a hidden gem.
Yeah,
and you boast a good kebsa recipe. Who taught you that? Who taught you how to make kebsa?
I think Jarir Bookstore is one of the best bookstore chains in the world. So I went in and said to the gentleman, would you have a Saudi cookbook in English? He said, of course I do. He looked at me as if,
Jarir.
Yeah. So and then I'd had it. I'd eaten it, and I like to cook. But I slow cook my chicken. I fry it first, and I slow cook it for nearly 6 hours.
Okay.
At about 100, and then
that's how they used to do it in the old days. Slow cook it because
So and then I put some tomato paste in it and everything. But my secret ingredient is dark chocolate, which I add in towards the end, and proper good brown sugar, and I can source smoked red paprika, and I put all that in there, and it's delicious. So it's delicious.
That's good. I mean, the slow cooking process was before, because kebsa is popular for lunch.
But again, before I got here, you go to the supermarkets here. You have the best of produce. A lot of it grows in the south, where it's more temperate. The herbs, the vegetables here. The meat, fish. anything you could possibly want. The quality in the supermarkets here of fresh food is superior to what we have in Ireland.
Okay.
I can get anything I want. That was a big surprise to me, and it's quite good value here as well. The bakeries are extraordinary near where I live. There's guys, baking bread 16 hours a day.
You had Tamis yet?
Yes,
okay.
yeah, it's beautiful. So all of these things. So I'm learning all the time. Like, it's just every week something different. You learn, you see, you experience. People tell you about a different place. You investigate. You learn. You end up going down rabbit holes of things, and then somebody introduces you to the next person, and it's intriguing.
All right, fair enough. And before we wrap up this interview, I always ask my guests who come on the show about having a personal message to the audience that is either watching, listening, or even reading the Mayman Show product for Arab News. What's yours?
I think for me, I suppose I was lucky to end up working in something I always wanted to do, all my life. So when I was a little boy, I decided I want to get involved in the travel industry, aviation industry. That's what I wanted to do. My folks, I guess, would have wanted me to have a proper job, to be a lawyer, an accountant, or a doctor or whatever. But I did a business. I was lucky to go to Trinity College in Dublin, did a business studies degree, but I wanted to work in tourism aviation, which wasn't seen as a proper job.
Okay.
Sadly, I lost both my parents while I was in college. Maybe the one thing it taught me then is to follow my dreams, because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in tourism and aviation, which wasn't seen as a classical career choice. And maybe the fact that I lost them when they were very young and I was very young, maybe it taught me that life's precious, life's short, and if you want to follow your own path and your own dream, that you need to do that, and that all the way along that the journey that you're on is the reward. So people need to have the courage to do what they want to do. You may want to be a beat poet, or you may want to be a NASCAR driver. I don't know. You know what I mean? I talk to students all the time, and I always say half the people in the room, they don't want to be accountants or lawyers. They want to be tattoo artists or punk oud players or whatever.
Everybody
they want
wants
to be.
To try something new now.
Yeah. So I think that's it for people to just don't live your life in drudgery as something going to work every day that you really hate. Try and find the courage to follow your dreams.
All right, fair enough. That's some very solid advice. And before we wrap up, you have to make me a promise that when you guys get on-air entertainment, the Mayman Show is going to be the first product.
That's a good idea, and people would learn a lot about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Arab News. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's incredible the coverage you guys have managed to pull together over the last number of months and in a very difficult and very sad war. So. I think the more people read and the more people understand, I think it's very enlightening.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of current events happening here in Saudi, so it keeps us busy. And I know the aviation industry also keeping you busy. And I'd like to thank you again
thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And before we wrap up our interview, I'd just like to close with a quote that traveling, it leaves you as a storyteller. See you later.